Here, I told you to talk, and now I'll tell you. Okay, now we're here. I hope you've been listening to jazz. We could hear a little bit as we finished our study session, but we would like to hear. You've been listening to the Mountain View High School Jazz Combo under the direction of Adam and is it Rish? Rish. Darn, I was guessing. And we would love to hear you play one number. Do you have something you can play for us? And somebody want to introduce it for us?
This next tune that we are going to play is called Cantaloupe Island by Herbie Hancock.
That was really impressive. We've been here since 4:15, and that by far is the best part of what we've heard so far. Not to take away anything from anybody who's presented to us so far, but that was the best. Do we have a student or Adam, would you like to somebody share a little bit about your program and where we can hear you perform again?
So, like he said before, we are the Mountain View High School Jazz Combo. We spend most of our time studying jazz music and with added rock and funk and different types of bebop stuff. Uh, like you said, we started out with 12 and we went down to 6, and it's just been a lot of fun. I've been in it for 2 years now, and I just love making music with these guys every day. It's always an honor when we get invited to come to these things. It really means a lot when the district wants us to play here. So thank you again for letting us play.
Do you guys have one more for us, or are we done? We're done? Everyone here would love to hear more. I just want them all to also be able to get home. We appreciate you coming in. It was really wonderful. Do you have anything coming up? When's your next? March 6th at Mountain View. All right. Get your tickets early. They'll be sold out. Okay. We're going to change the order up a little bit. As they go ahead and pack up, we will go ahead and show you a video on our governing board meeting procedures.
Welcome to the Mesa Public Schools Governing Board meeting. We appreciate your interest in the district. The 5 elected governing board members volunteer countless hours and serve without compensation. The president and the clerk of the board are elected in January. Under state law, the governing board may only discuss and vote on matters that are on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Agendas are posted a minimum of 24 hours in advance on the Mesa Public Schools website and in the Curriculum Services Center. Copies of tonight's agenda are located in the lobby. Members of the public may speak to the agenda items. If you wish to comment on any agenda item, please fill out a request to address the board form. These forms are also located in the lobby. Before the item is discussed, please submit the completed form to the assistant to the governing board. Members of the public will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. Once recognized by the governing board president, please state your name. We ask that all speakers show respect and courtesy to others. During the second regular meeting of each month, the agenda will include a call to the public, which is an opportunity to speak to the governing board about a school district matter that's not on the agenda. Please submit a request to address the board form to participate in the call to the public. If you want the governing board to consider adding an item to a future agenda, you may submit your request in writing to the board at least 5 working days before that meeting. The superintendent or the governing board president will consider your request. Thank you for your attendance and involvement in tonight's meeting.
Thank you. If you will join with me before we call our meeting to order, and in accordance with Governing Board Policy BDDH, Public Participation at Board Meetings, we are honored to have Pastor David Land from the New Life Assembly of God here to offer our invocation, and after he's through, please stay standing.
Heavenly Father, thank you again for the blessings of this day, and we thank you, Lord, for you are a great God, creator of heaven and earth and all that is within them. We thank you, Lord, for the gift of music, as we have heard tonight. We thank you for the talent of our students. We pray that you would just continue to bless them. And now, Lord, over this meeting, we ask your blessing. We ask for wisdom to be given to our governing board. Lord, we ask also for understanding and to be given to those who are here for participation. I pray, Lord, that you will have your way in our city and in our school district. And Lord, I also pray that each and every one that is here tonight, Lord, will know just how much they are loved by you, our Heavenly Father. And we thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Land. I call this meeting to order, and we will now have the Pledge of Allegiance followed by the video showing the national anthem. And tonight, our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Dr. Pete Lesser.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. You may be seated now. We are glad you are here and you've joined with us. If you would like to follow along an agenda, there's some in the lobby. There are ways you can see the minutes that will be posted after this online and also here in this building after this meeting. We excuse Kiana Sears, board member Sears had a family emergency and she may be joining us through the meeting. So when she comes in, you'll know who she is. And we'd like to welcome Dr. James Driscoll, who has recently started in his new position with us as the assistant superintendent over the West area K through 8 schools. East. Sorry, Erlinda, I gave away your job. James came from the west side, and now he's in charge of the east side. All right. So we're glad to have you here, James. You guys are here on the most exciting night of the year. That was a lie. They're organizationally, in that little video, they said that we elect our president and clerk in January, and this is that meeting where we have some housekeeping things that we as a board need to take care of, and it is the first item on our agenda, so we will go ahead and do it. We are on item 4A, the election of the governing board president for the 2018 calendar year. Do I have a motion for who we would like to serve as our governing board president this year?
Madam President, I'd like to make that a motion, but before I do, I want to first thank you and all your service that you have given over the past year. I don't know if those of you that are sitting out there, probably not, because you probably don't follow all what the board does throughout the year, but we have multiple meetings, but the board president attends more meetings than the rest of the board, makes speeches and inspires and motivates our employees as well as our students and teachers, and is, in her case, quite creative, humorous. I've really enjoyed her humor. She's adept at having a pulse on what's going on in the school district at all times. She has great questions, great answers, and has been a stabling force on the board. And that's very important in a school board. Right now, as many of you are aware, we are starting the process of searching for a superintendent. And one of the first things an outstanding superintendent looks for is a cohesive, strong governing board. And Mesa Schools has had a long-standing legacy of great board members. And Jenny Richardson has joined that legacy and is one of those such board members. I'm very proud to work with her. It's been a great year having her as board president. Fortunately, she still will be here and have this influence on the board this next year. But with all things come, great things come with change. And as a result of that change, I would like to nominate Ben Smith to be our next board president for 2018. And let me tell you a little bit about Ben. Ben is entrepreneurial. He is of interesting background. He's young. I don't want to tell you how young, but I will hint that I could probably be his mother. So he, at a very young age, has done some extraordinary things in his career. And I will maybe at some point give him an opportunity to share that with you. I understand I'm not on his Facebook, but I understand from those who have been on this Facebook that you get an inkling of his entrepreneurial ability from his Facebook. He, I would say, if I were to summarize the kind of board member that Ben is, he looks for innovation, and he looks to hold our school district accountable to being stronger and more driven in helping our students to be more successful, and this is important to him. He's been passionate about education. He's been passionate about looking at things outside of the box to help our school district to be better than it is even now, even better. So I believe he will make a great president for 2018, and I'm very proud to nominate him as president of our school board for 2018.
Thank you, Elaine, for those kind words. And for that nomination, also we need to recommend the approval of a governing board clerk.
I'll take that nomination, but I feel like I'm kind of speechless based on what I've got to live up to based from the nomination and the introduction that I just got. But for my recommendation, I want to recommend the approval of Elaine Miner as governing board clerk for the 2018 calendar year. This is Elaine's second round. She brings with her a lot of experience. We've got a lot of stuff going on next year that we're going to be looking for your support on. And she's been there. She's done that. So she's going to help motivate us. And with that, I'll keep it short.
Thank you.
All right. I have a motion to approve Ben Smith as the governing board president and Elaine Miner as the governing board clerk for the 2018 calendar year. All those in favor? Aye. And with that comes a little bit of motion. We're going to move around. So we're going to play musical chairs.
My blanket.
I guess they put.
I guess this officially puts me in the hot seat. All right, with that move, we're going to continue down some of our organizational items. Should we move on to letter B?
Recommend adoption of the governing board policies and administrative regulations, including governing board policy IGAK, Native American Education, as presently constituted for the year 2018 calendar year.
All right, do we have a motion for approval? Oh, that was it, okay. Then we'll move on to C.
No, you vote.
Oh,
All those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll catch on, this is my first round.
Thanks.
It's always different when you're doing it for the first time. You've heard it for years. It's a different thing when it has to come out of your mouth.
All right, now that B is approved, let's move on to item C.
I have that motion. Pursuant to ARS 15321, 15341, 15536, 15538, and 15539, recommended approval of the delegation of authority to and appointment of the superintendent or designee to sign by hand or facsimile signature and deliver on behalf of the governing board. 1. All reports and funding requests required by the state or federal law. 2. Intergovernmental agreements. 3. Letters of preliminary notice of inadequacy of classroom performance, notices of dismissal, notices of suspension, and non-renewal of contract. And 4. All other official legal documents which require the signature of the Chief Executive Officer of the Mesa Unified School District Number 4 for the 2018 calendar year, and through and including the date of the first meeting of the Governing Board in 2019.
That was a mouthful. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to item D.
Pursuant to ARS 15321 and 15341, recommended approval of the delegation of authority to the president and/or clerk of the governing board to sign by hand or facsimile signature official legal documents, contracts, or agreements on behalf of the board for the 2018 calendar year. 2, pursuant to ARS 15321 and 15341, recommended approval of the delegation of authority to the superintendent, associate superintendent, assistant superintendent for business and support services, chief financial officer, and director of purchasing to make debit or credit purchases of goods and services on behalf of the district with a district purchasing card or other credit or debit instrument for the 2018 calendar year.
All right, all in favor of approving D as read?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move on to, Steve gets the easy one, so we'll go on to E.
Recommend the appointment of the Chief Financial Officer as Student Activities Treasurer for the 2018 calendar year and authorization for him to be bonded in the amount of $5,000.
Okay, thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
And now on to item F.
Item F, we recommend the appointment of the following hearing officers for Section 504 complaints, employee due process hearings, student due process hearings, and bid protests for the 2018 calendar year. Mrs. Julia Kelly, Mr. Chris Thomas, Mrs. Colleen Thomas, and all persons designated as hearing officers by the Arizona Department of Education or State Board of Education pursuant to ARS 15541 or AAC R72-1158. Item 2, designation of compliance officers for the 2018 calendar year as follows. The Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources as the compliance officer for all complaints made by employees relating to Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, Title VI and Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, and the Associate Superintendent is the district's compliance officer for complaints by students relating to Title 11, discrimination. Is that right? Is that Title 11? 6, thank you. My Roman numerals are off. Title 6, discrimination based on race, ethnicity, national origin, and religion, and Title 9, gender-based discrimination, and the Executive Director of Special Education is the district's compliance officer for disability-based complaints made by students relating to Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, Americans with Disabilities Act, and Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. 3, we recommend the appointment of Mrs. Jill Benza, Mr. Mike Elliott, and Mrs. Marilyn Wilson as the Board of Trustees for the Employment Benefit Trust for the 2018 calendar year. And item 4, pursuant to the School District Procurement Code, AAC R72-1001 et al., recommend the appointment of the Director of Purchasing as district representative for the purpose of issuing decisions in the response to protests filed pursuant to R72-1142 for the 2018 calendar year. In the event of the Director of Purchasing cannot act, the Assistant Superintendent for Business and Support Services will act as district representative.
Wow. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we'll move on to the approval of the meeting minutes. I've got to recuse myself from the regular meeting held on December 12, 2017. But can I get a motion for approval of the meeting minutes from December 12th, 2017.
I move that we approve the minutes for December 12th, 2017.
You can call for the vote, though. You can call for the vote.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll move on to the meeting minutes, the special meeting that was held on December 19th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
I move for approval of the special minutes held on December 19th, 2017.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we are finally done talking. We'll move on to Dr. Holmes for the personnel requests.
Mr. President, members of the board, we're asking your approval this evening of the certificated and classified personnel requests, including the addendum.
All right, do I have a motion for approval?
I move that we accept the certificated and classified personnel requests, including the addendum.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll move on to the consent agenda, and we're gonna break out and highlight one of the things that we're gonna discuss. Scott Thompson was gonna talk to us about one of the items in here, but before we do, do you want to take it?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, first I'd like to acknowledge we have some folks in the audience from our bond counsel and finance group that helps us with this. We have Randy Stein in the back, Sandra Day, and I think Jim's still here. Wave your hands, guys. There you are. So they help us put all this information together. Mostly what we want to do here right now is to thank our community. This is the final bond sale of the authorization that was voted on in 2012 by the community. And in that, we made several commitments, many of which have fully come to fruition and some of which are still in progress. That bond election included bringing our transportation facilities up to standards so that we could maintain and run our buses safely. And that has been completed. That commitment had a one-to-one initiative on technology at all of our high schools, and that is now completely in place. Every high school student has that one-to-one initiative. We also have an infrastructure development that continues today. So that's one of the things that this $29 million that we are authorizing today will do, and that is to keep Mesa schools in the shape and the condition that the community demands, and I think that our students deserve. And we're just very appreciative of a community that supports us with such funding, because this is completely locally funded and locally supported.
Could I just add to that, just to clarify a little bit further? Back, just make sure you understand, back in 2012, there was an election here in Mesa to approve a bond, which would mean that there would be money that is not provided through the state or through the federal government for things in our school district here in Mesa that we could not otherwise afford. We are being funded less and less as time goes by through the state and federal government, and having to depend more and more on our local community to support their local schools. And yes, Mesa came through for us again and said, we will support the schools. We will vote yes on a bond. And that bond meant that our kids were able to enjoy technology. We've all been concerned that our kids don't know or understand technology at the pace that they need to in today's climate, culture, and new innovative things that are coming down the pike. And this bond made it so our children can be up to speed on those skill sets that are so very vital to their understanding and education now. And if you guys or Dr. Cowan would like to add anything else to that, other than we are going to be talking about this more later and what the school district still would like to have in order to be serving you even better, we will be talking and having that discussion. But we wanted you to know that your dollars are at work, and significant things that are positive for our children have come about because of your vote.
Thank you, Mrs. Minder. One of the other things that I'd like Scott to mention is this bond also provided for substantive support to our facilities. Our community has made significant investments into our schools and our administrative buildings, our transportation buildings. And some of those buildings had become quite dilapidated over time to the point that they were near closure. And we, through this bond, have been able to establish new transportation facilities and, most importantly, have worked to ensure that every school in our system is equipped with sound roofing and water systems and electrical systems and sewage systems and air conditioning heating systems that were old. And Scott and his team have done a wonderful job of assessing the needs of every campus and then utilizing these bond dollars to assist us. Scott, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I don't want us to go without mentioning also the safety factor. The schools have been better secured with fencing. We have video surveillance on every campus in multiple locations, and it shows a real commitment that would not have been possible without this support. It is truly the Mesa schools that our families know today are a reflection of the community support. Otherwise, we would be, we've been, Dr. Cowan and myself have been in meetings with school districts who are talking about failing roofs and stucco falling off buildings and just very, very frustrated because they don't have the resources, and we do because of our local support, and we're just very thankful for that.
It's not automatic that those things are taken care of anymore. We can't assume that our state will fund to take care of our buildings and the needs that we've just discussed. We have to be more assertive and do it ourselves and make sure it gets done. And we just want to thank you for getting out there and voting, and we will be again talking to you about that here in the next year, what we need as well. So thank you for covering that.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Dr. Cowan, for adding to that. Our consent agenda actually consists of multiple items. All items will be listed, or all items listed will be considered as a group and will be approved with one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Do we have a motion for approval?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as it's stated here.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now on to Dr. Cowan for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our meeting. Happy New Year, and welcome back to the second semester of the school year. I have to express some appreciation to three folks in the audience this evening. As Mrs. Miner was talking about the selection of a new superintendent, there's probably only 3 people in Mesa that don't know that I've retired, because all 3 of them emailed me that said, "The governing board's getting rid of you?" And actually, my wife and I are taking on some responsibilities for our church for 3 years in a foreign country, and we'll be leaving at the end of the school year. And the governing board is thoughtfully preparing for a new superintendent to come in and continue the excellent work that so many people in Mesa Public Schools do on a regular basis. So thank you to the 3 of you who didn't know and were concerned and sent me texts. I appreciate that. That was funny, Elaine. Happy New Year, and welcome back to another semester of teaching and learning for Mesa Public Schools. I hope everyone had a restful winter break and that your 2018 year is filled with exciting new opportunities. Before I share this evening's happenings from across the district, I'd like to express my appreciation for the work of these 5, absent 1, and we hope she arrives here soon, devoted leaders on our governing board. Their vision and policies guide us and provide us the best opportunities for our students to succeed in a safe learning environment. Jenny Richardson, we'd like to express our appreciation and thanks to you for your leadership over the last year. We faced some challenging experiences, and your leadership has been strengthening and supportive, and most importantly, focused on the needs of our student, which is a hallmark of our board, and you have left a legacy of leadership as you step from president back into the board itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in thanking Mrs. Richardson for her dedicated service. Thank you, Jenny. I'd also like to express appreciation to our new governing board leadership, President Ben Smith and Clerk Elaine Miner. You heard a little bit about these two. These are, again, two individuals that are indicative of the five individuals voted by our public and our volunteers. They're full-time volunteers in many instances, in that they serve many hours in a variety of different capacities to support and advocate for the children of Mesa Public Schools, to watch over and care for our educators, our classified staff, and to work with the administration in moving the school system forward. We're excited for the two of you, and thank you for accepting these two very important jobs. Let's have a hand for our new leadership of the governing board as well. Thank you. And last but not least, we'd like to welcome the youngest member of our leadership team, Dr. James Driscoll, right in front of me. James, wave your hand there. We appreciate him. He's the newest member of our superintendency as the assistant superintendent for the East area, coming from the West. He is deeply steeped in education and is married into an education family. You'll hear from his father-in-law later this evening. And James, we just want to welcome you to the team, and buckle up and hold on, brother, because it's going to be a fun second semester. Congratulations in your new position as well. Now let's talk about some of the great things going on in Mesa Public Schools. Mesa Public Schools remains a leader in fostering good citizenship among our students. For the third consecutive year, the district has dominated the Arizona Department of Education Civic Engagement Awards. Of the 34 schools recognized statewide this year, 20 Mesa Public Schools received this coveted award. Mendoza and Serine Elementary Schools, Fremont, Keno, Poston, Smith, and Taylor Junior High Schools, Mesa High, Mountain View, and Superstition High Schools, and Summit Academy earned the School of Merit designation. Carson and Franklin Junior High Schools, Dobson and Skyline High School, and the East Valley Academy were named Schools of Distinction. And later during tonight's presentation, we will reveal the 4 district schools receiving the School of Excellence, Arizona's highest designation, which is a recognition noteworthy. The Civic Engagement Awards recognize schools with environments of cultures where students have the opportunities and tools to engage in civic learning and develop an appreciation of the democratic processes, liberties, and responsibilities. Award winners will be recognized formally for their achievement at the State Civic Learning Conference in May. When a teacher becomes a national board certified teacher, it is a statement that they teach to the highest standards in their profession. Please extend your congratulations to our seven, that's a big number for us, 7 newest National Board certified teachers, which is a record for Mesa Public Schools. Amina Abdelhak, science teacher at Franklin Junior High School. Maria Barker, special education teacher at Red Mountain Center for Early Childhood Education. Rebecca Kreider, social studies teacher at Skyline High School. Rachel D. Christina, kindergarten teacher at Lowell Elementary School. Ann Osuna, special education teacher at Edison Elementary School. Nicole Powell, 5th grade teacher at Hale Elementary School. And Tamra Tapia, career and technical education department chair and business and computers teacher at Mesa High School. These exceptional educators spent hundreds of hours compiling portfolios, videos, lesson plans, and student work samples that documents their mastery of instructional practice and classroom management. We appreciate the difference that they make in the lives of our students and commend them for raising the bar in education. In Arizona, the Fiesta Bowl organization is synonymous with the elite bowl games, philanthropic causes, and the holidays. As a world-class community organization, our Fiesta Bowl friends drive economic growth and champion charitable causes, and we happen to have a Fiesta Bowl board member with us, our own governing board president, Ben Smith. And we're excited, Ben, for your continued leadership in that organization. Following up a successful inaugural year for the Wishes for Teachers program, the Fiesta Bowl charities partnered with the Arizona Republic and community members, prompting more than 4,200 teachers from across Arizona to apply for the 2017 program. Throughout the holiday season, 100 teachers, 14 of them from Mesa Public Schools, were randomly selected to receive $5,000 grants to make classroom dreams a reality. Here are a few examples of how our students will benefit from the generosity of the Fiesta Bowl charities. Denise Micah, Media Center Specialist at Hale Elementary School, will buy 10 iPads for students to use for ebooks and in STEAM Club. Jennifer Ochoa's wish is for a new sensory room to support the needs of special education students at Adams Elementary School. Jennifer's colleague, first grade teacher Natalie Short, will purchase new classroom furniture and contribute to campus improvements. Spencer Brown, social studies teacher at Keno Junior High School, will sponsor a class trip to Washington, D.C. This is a huge deal for our underserved students who don't typically have the financial means to participate in cross-country school trips of this nature. And Madison Jensen, 8th grade math teacher at Taylor Junior High School, will provide 50 Texas Instrument graphing calculators for her pre-algebra students. Along with having their wishes granted, the teachers were honored during the halftime ceremony at the Cactus Bowl game at Chase Field, and all teachers who submitted a wish received a complimentary 1-year digital subscription to the Arizona Republic. Thank you to our board member, board president Ben Smith, and our community partners who contribute their time and resources to make a difference in the lives of our students. On Monday, January 15th, we recognize the leadership and influence of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We honor him for leading a movement that used the power of unconditional love and nonviolence to achieve historic reforms. This year, Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Committee is sponsoring the annual parade. It'll be held on Monday, January 15th at 11 o'clock a.m. Our award-winning Mesa and Mountain View High School marching bands will perform in the parade, which begins at the intersection of Martin Luther King Jr. Way and Center Street. On Thursday, January 18th, Arizona State University hosts its 33rd annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast in the Arizona Ballroom at Memorial Union. Franklin at Brimhall Elementary 5th grade student Kennedy Miner and 2nd graders Nayava McCoskey, Beverly Felstead, and Faust Hess will be recognized at the event as winners of the 2018 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Contest. This year's theme, Look Deeper, Speak Louder, inspired 1,800 creative entries from across Arizona. Great job to our Firebirds for their entries. For more information about Mesa events, please visit mesamlk.org. Now, Mr. President and members of the board, this concludes the superintendent's report, and I invite you to join me in front of the dais for this evening's recognitions. As I mentioned earlier, the Civic Engagement School of Excellence Award is the highest level of civic engagement recognition from the Arizona Department of Education. And tonight we're excited to announce that Rhodes and Shepherd Junior High Schools and Red Mountain and Westwood High Schools have earned this highest designation, Schools of Excellence. First, will Principal Patty Christie and Rhodes Junior High School representatives please come forward? Patty, where are you? Come on over here and we're going to have you stand right here. This is Lindsay, right? Lindsay. Next, we have and would like to invite forward Renee Kennedy, principal of Shepherd Junior High School, and the Shepherd representatives. Would you please come join me up front? I think there's 3 of them. Sandra Ampha, math teacher. Raise your hand, Sandra. There she is. Larry Johnson, social studies teacher. And Jennifer Chilton, team leader. And Jared Ryan, the proud principal of Red Mountain High School. Will you and the Red Mountain representatives please come forward and join me? Come on up and we'll applaud them as well. Now, Jeremy Jones, there's Jeremy right there, and next to Jeremy is Catherine Bianchi, raise your hand there, and of course Jared, the proud principal. And last but not least, our Westwood High School principal was unable to make it with us, but we do have one of his leaders with us, Dr. Jake Davis, our International Baccalaureate Coordinator. Are you here, Jake? Oh, come on up here, Jake, and bring your team with you as well. With Dr. Davis, we have Andrea Murphy down there on the very, very end. Thank you for joining us, Andrea, as well. This honor recognizes and supports the important roles of schools in ensuring that students are informed and engaged citizens. Rhodes and Shepherd Junior High Schools and Red Mountain and Westwood High Schools, along with the previously mentioned schools, will be recognized at the Arizona Department of Education award ceremony March 2nd. Now, we'd like to have, let's say, maybe Patty. Tell us a little bit about this, Patty, and what it meant for you at the junior high level, and maybe help them understand what it means to be a school of excellence.
Thank you. Goodness, I'm so glad I get to talk. So our faculty, actually all of the faculties that have invested their time into this have really put students and teachers in the focus of making sure that civic engagement is an important part of the curriculum and part of what they do for the community. So students aren't just learning about what their role is in their community through their curriculum, but they're also doing it with their community. And I think that that's a fantastic part of teaching them how to function in today's society. So that, I must say, is the work of many teachers. They really invest in making sure that our students have the opportunities that they need. And I'm purely proud of the fact that our teachers and our administrators up here have done what they can for our students in that capacity.
These are our schools of excellence. We're so proud of each of you and your colleagues as well. Please convey our appreciation and respect for what you do in helping our young people become informed and engaged members, citizens in our community. Thank you so very much. We'd like to ask you now to come join and meet our governing board, and then we'll allow you to go to your second period class.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you. Good seeing you. How are you? Yeah? Hey, good to see you. Hey, there's a star. Oh, thank you. What did I say? That's not a half big, half big. I know your daughter. How cool is that? Oh, really? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Next on our agenda are spotlight recognitions. This program gives our community a more comprehensive look at our schools, programs, and departments, and allows them to recognize some of the incredible individuals that are in Mesa Public Schools. This evening's spotlight recognitions include Lindbergh and Taft Elementary Schools and the School Safety and Security Department. Will Tom Heminger, Lindbergh Elementary School principal, please join me at the podium while we watch. We're going to watch this brief video. Come right here, Tom. Gotta stand on that little black star or I get in trouble. Very good. All right. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Thank you. Hold on just a minute. We're going to watch your video behind you.
Welcome to Lindbergh Elementary School, home of the snow leopards. My name is Tom Heminger, and I'm proud to serve as principal. Lindbergh Elementary School has many unique offerings. We're very proud to be in our second year as an Avid elementary school. Our students learn to take Avid notes, they learn organizational skills, and they also participate in Wicker lessons. Wicker stands for writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading to learn. We also offer a gifted and talented program for our students that are high achievers. Lindbergh has 2 early childhood education Head Start classes offered for our families and students here. We also offer adult education classes for people wanting to learn English. Our team makes learning come alive in a fun way using technology that's part of the daily instruction in our K through 6 classrooms. Here at Lindbergh, our students are challenged academically. We believe in working through the struggles, thinking often outside of the box, and definitely teaching perseverance. Our teachers are committed to getting to know children on a personal level, where we emphasize academics and character skills. We believe in helping students develop into leaders.
Excellent. Principal Heminger, why don't you introduce us to your honorees tonight?
Well, thank you, Dr. Cowan, and good evening, and that rowdy group back there is mine. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Lindbergh Elementary School. At Lindbergh, we believe in every student building relationships with them and delivering the best academic instruction that we can. We also believe in supporting students with those social and emotional tools that we know are so essential. And tonight, I would like to recognize a few people who make our school such a special place. Could I please have Samuel Diaz-Lira, 6th grade student at Lindbergh, come on up here with me? I will be telling you a little bit about Samuel, and then Mrs. Mann will also be reading some words to us tonight in Spanish. Please hold your applause until Mrs. Mann is finished. Since his very first day, Samuel has come to school eager to learn and to share his knowledge with our peers. He is actively involved in the Battle of the Books program, and he readily volunteers in kindergarten classrooms or anywhere else that he is needed. He often forgoes recess to study. He even inspired his 6th grade teacher to restructure her lessons to provide an environment to grow the same thirst for knowledge in others. And I'm honored to recognize him, Samuel, as our outstanding student this evening.
Stay right there.
Lo siento, casi todas las noches me dan este escrito en español antes de que tenga que leerlo en español. Solamente lo tengo en inglés, pero voy a traducirlo lo mejor que puedo en un segundo. Desde el primer día que Samuel llegó a la escuela, estaba ansioso de aprender y enseñarles a todos toda la información que él sabía. Está activo en la batalla de los libros y se da de voluntario en la clase de kinder. Y cuando lo necesiten en cualquier lugar en la escuela, él está listo para darse de voluntario. Él le ayuda a sus maestros a construir lecciones para ayudar a otros en su escuela también poder aprender. Estamos honrados de conocerte a ti, Samuel, como estudiante excelente de la escuela Lindbergh.
Thank you, Mrs. Mann. Samuel, will you please stay up here with me? And next, I would like to call Jennifer Kill, 2nd grade ELD teacher, to join us up here at the podium. She didn't know she was going to have to do this evening. She thought she was coming for Samuel. Okay, Jennifer's positive insight and her energy certainly create an inspirational atmosphere at our school for our students and our staff to thrive. She advocates for students, and she sets high expectations that she herself models. She routinely shares best practices with our peers and our staff, and she energetically presents avid professional development to our team. Her outlook, her disposition, her sense of humor certainly make learning memorable. And I'm honored to recognize you, Jennifer, as our educator who makes a difference. Please stay standing up here, both of you. Next, I'd like to call Antonio Valdez, Resource Specialist, to please come forward with us. Antonio wears many different hats on our team at Lindbergh. Most days you'll find him running around campus helping to meet students' needs. In the Media Center, he makes reading and learning come alive to students. He also supports students and staff with his expert knowledge on technology. He even finds time to orchestrate our weekly brain food program for students to have meals over the weekend. And I'm honored to recognize you, Antonio, as our customer service champion.
Let's have a round of applause for Lindbergh Elementary School. Thank you. He's so polite, he asked if he could go back to his seat. So. Our next spotlight shines on Taft Elementary School. Whoa. Will the father-in-law of Dr. James Driscoll please come forward? His name is Russ Heath, and he is the proud principal of Taft Elementary School. Let's watch a brief video about Taft.
Hi, welcome to Taft Elementary.
At Taft, our mission is to find success for every child. It starts with an incredible staff and a neighborhood school where the community is so proud. The things that we do well here is making sure that kids come to school every day and find a way to be successful. And what's worked for us is our intervention and enrichment programs, and we have built into the schedule 30 minutes every day where they get math enrichment and remediation, and then we have another 30-minute block of time for ELA. We find ways to help keep kids up with where they're supposed to be and to keep those kids who are getting it easily enriched and challenged. We have probably the best parent liaison in the district. We're an A+ school of excellence. It is a sense of pride for parents to bring their kids to a school that has consistently shown over a period of time to be one of the top performing schools in Mesa. It's just an incredible asset to Mesa Public Schools to have a great neighborhood school like Taft.
Principal Heath, if you'll introduce us to some of the wonderful people that make a difference at Taft.
Thank you, Dr. Cowan. I am so proud of you guys. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Taft Elementary is a high-performing A-rated school and a recent winner of the Governor's Results-Based Funding Program. In addition to our academic success, We have also been named an A+ School of Excellence thanks to our well-rounded education we offer our students. I'm honored to recognize a few Taft Tigers tonight. Fallon Weatherford, 2nd grade student. Please join me. Fallon is a shining example of how people should treat each other. She greets every staff member with a smile and asks, "How are you today?" Fallon is selfless and puts her classmates and teachers first. She is the epitome of kindness. Although she is only in 2nd grade, she is already a role model to everyone at Taft Elementary. I am honored to recognize you, Fallon, as our outstanding student. Fallon, please stay here for a minute. Roger Keller, volunteer, please join me at the podium. As any educator can tell you, dedicated volunteers like Roger are invaluable members of our school communities. Roger jumps in to help both during the school year and in summer school. He always displays a positive attitude. His influence is remarkable, and he's made a difference in the success of our students on end-of-year math assessments. I am honored to recognize you, Roger, as our volunteer extraordinaire. And as I know, Lindbergh, it's tough making these decisions. Next, Myrna Martinez, would you please join us? Myrna is our SCI tech at Taft Elementary School. She always goes the extra mile for staff and students. She's devoted to our second language students, often giving up her lunch break and free time to tutor them. She helps teachers understand their learning level, along with the paperwork and requirements to work with these students. Myrna helps nearby schools also. She's a firm believer that all students can succeed. I am honored to recognize you, Myrna, as our employee who makes a difference. Thank you, Myrna. And finally, Sharon Downing, health assistant. Would you please come forward? I'm telling you, this is Taft right up here today. Sharon is focused on ensuring students and families stay healthy and safe. Without hesitation, she'll take on any responsibility to help. She assists families with finding necessities such as glasses, medical care, and clothing. Sharon steps in to cover the front office when necessary and sometimes acts as a fill-in mom for students needing a little extra love. I'm so honored to recognize you, Sharon, as our customer service champion. And last, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Cowan and the board and just allowing schools to have a chance to be highlighted here. We appreciate this very much, and these special people and this great staff from Taft Elementary. Thank you.
I'm a little afraid to say this, but let's have a round of applause for Taft Elementary School. Congratulations, Tigers. Our last spotlight of the evening shines on our School Safety and Security Department, and I'd like to introduce a person that I love not to see. That's our Director of School Safety and Security, Al Moore. If you'd please come forward while we watch a brief video about your team and how you support these incredible schools.
Students can't learn and teachers can't teach if they don't feel safe. Our primary responsibility is to provide a safe and secure environment for our students and our staff. We have many responsibilities within the School Safety and Security Department, one of which is emergency management protocols. These include fire drills, lockdown drills, and evacuation drills. Mesa Public Schools has 2 layers of security. The junior high and high schools have campus security and school resource officers assigned to their schools. The elementary schools rely on district-level patrol officers. Our patrol officers have a geographically assigned beat, and they patrol the schools within their beat. We respond to a variety of issues that occur on our campus, including strangers, scuffles, etc. When our officers are not responding to a call, they conduct proactive patrol to deter any potential criminal activity. We have an excellent security camera system that covers both school sites and non-school sites. These cameras are monitored live at night. They also can be accessed to review past events that may have been reported and need investigation. We are a very large district, and we have one of the few district security departments in the state. Most districts rely on police for day-to-day issues. Many of the issues do not get the response time from the police due to their priority level.
Eisenhower?
Our officers have excellent response time in just a few minutes.
Copy. I'll be en route from Eisenhower.
They also receive regular training from within the district and from within the Mesa Police Department. The best part about coming to work is I work with some amazing people who share the same goals in protecting children. It's important that we all work together in this to provide a safe and secure environment for both our students and our staff.
The gentleman standing to my right does so much behind the scenes to help keep our children safe and well, and our staff secure and taken care of as well. While we're recognizing people from his department, I want him to know how much the administration and the governing board respect and appreciate Al Moore for what he does as well. Al, would you please introduce some wonderful people for us?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Cowan. School safety and security staff serve as first responders for primary schools and backup response for secondary schools in emergency situations. Our mission is to help provide students and staff a safe learning environment. Tonight, I'd like to honor 2 dedicated members of our team. Joe Martinez, District Security Officer, please join me at the podium. That's you, Joe. No task is too big or too small for Joe. He goes above and beyond to help when needed. He's often our point man for things like organizing our Veterans Day Parade involvement, Adopt a Family, or representing the department in presentations. He also helps train new officers and current security officers to ensure they are up to date on protocols and policies. I am honored to recognize you, Joe, as our employee who makes a difference. Margie Palma, District Security Officer. Please join me at the podium. They're a little shy. This is why I wanted you to come. Margie is effortlessly pleasant, without a negative thing to say about anybody or anything. She covers for dispatch when necessary and is a familiar face in the Administrative Services Center lobby. Visitors love seeing Margie and often compliment her positive attitude. She works hard and dedicates herself fully to her job. I am honored to recognize you, Margie, as our customer service champion.
I have to tell you about Margie. When she's here as security for our board meetings, she won't leave until I drive out of the parking lot. So I appreciate her always being here, watching out for all of us at the board meetings. So let's have a round of applause for Al and his team. Wonderful folks. Thank you to our master educators and to our wonderful top-notch employees. Your individual and collective efforts are what makes Mesa Public Schools what it is. A caring environment focused on the dedication and education and success of our kids. That happens every day in these Taft classrooms, in these Lindbergh classrooms, and it happens because people like Al Moore and his staff are ensuring that our folks are safe and secure and good environments. So this is just representative of many of the outstanding people here, as well as from our many, many schools across the system, and we thank and appreciate you. Our Spotlight recipients receive a certificate of appreciation and an Amazon gift card for personal use from the Mesa Public Schools Foundation. In addition, I need to go to Taft to read. Our volunteer extraordinaire receives a candy-filled tumbler, and an outstanding students are recognized with an official portrait to be displayed in our governing boardroom. Our kids that were recognized tonight will be up here shortly, and at their schools, and in a place of honor in their homes as well. We'll take a brief 3-minute recess, allowing our honorees and guests to continue with their evening plans. And again, you receive our congratulations, and hopefully you'll be able to take some photos, but we encourage you to move promptly out into the lobby. Before you do so, I would like to recognize that we've been joined this evening by our last and important governing board member, Kiana Sears. She's behind me. Kiana, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll now take that brief 3-minute recess. Thank you for joining us.
School, home of the Snow Leopards. My name is Tom Heminger, and I'm proud to serve as principal. Lindbergh Elementary School has many unique offerings. We're very proud to be in our second year as an Avid elementary school. Our students learn to take Avid notes, they learn organizational skills, and they also participate in WICR lessons. WICR stands for Writing, Inquiry, Collaboration, Organization, and Reading to Learn. We also offer a gifted and talented program for our students that are high achievers. Lindbergh has 2 early childhood education Head Start classes offered for our families and students here. We also offer adult education classes for people wanting to learn English. Our team makes learning come alive in a fun way using technology that's part of the daily instruction in our K through 6 classrooms. Here at Lindbergh, our students are challenged academically. We believe in working through the struggles, thinking often outside of the box, and definitely teaching perseverance. Our teachers are committed to getting to know children on a personal level, where we emphasize academics and character skills. We believe in helping students develop into leaders.
Thank you. Thank you again. I'm not trusting myself with the clicker.
Hi, welcome to Taft Elementary.
You made it. Well done.
At Taft, our mission is to find success for every child. It starts with an incredible staff and a neighborhood school where the community is so proud. The things that we do well here is making sure that kids come to school every day and find a way to be successful. And what's worked for us is our intervention and enrichment programs, and we have built into the schedule 30 minutes every day where they get math enrichment and remediation, and then we have another 30-minute block of time for ELA. We find ways to help keep kids up with where they're supposed to be and to keep those kids who are getting it easily enriched and challenged. We have probably the best parent liaison in the district. We're an A+ school of excellence. It is a sense of pride for parents to bring their kids to a school that has consistently shown over a period of time to be one of the top performing schools in Mesa. It's just an incredible asset to Mesa Public Schools to have a great neighborhood school like Taft.
Students can't learn and teachers can't teach if they don't feel safe. Our primary responsibility is to provide a safe and secure environment for our students and our staff. We have many responsibilities within the School Safety and Security Department, one of which is emergency management protocols. These include fire drills, lockdown drills, and evacuation drills. Mesa Public Schools has 2 layers of security. The junior high and high schools have campus security and school resource officers assigned to their schools. The elementary schools rely on district-level patrol officers. Our patrol officers have a geographically assigned beat, and they patrol the schools within their beat. We respond to a variety of issues that occur on our campus, including strangers, scuffles, etc. When our officers are not responding to a call, they conduct proactive patrol.
All right, it looks like the party's moved outside, so we will continue on. We're gonna pardon Dr. Cowan. He's got an outside commitment that he's gonna go out for, but we will get a presentation on IB Primary Years Program at Summit Academy, if you want to get us started.
Nice to have a couple people hanging out. Thank you so much. Got to be honest, we didn't know what to expect. We were thinking we were presenting to everybody, and we were really nervous. And now that everyone's gone, it's like really nice. Everyone. Well, I know. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean, Dr. Cowan. You know what I mean. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, superintendency, thank you for this opportunity to present about our primary years program. I brought some friends and some wonderful people from Summit to help us. So when I say your name, please stand up. Cami Laudenbeck is everything. She's my right-hand woman. She is our Title I specialist, she is our curriculum specialist, and she is our PYP coordinator. So there's Cami, and she'll be helping us out. She does everything. Then we also have Dottie Craw, who is the she's our 5th grade teacher there, and she is the Arizona IB Teacher of the Year for the Primary Years program. So Dottie, kind of wave. And then we have 2 primary year program graduates that are now on our MYP on our 7th and 8th grade, and we are very grateful to their parents and for them for coming to help us, Amelia Wendell and Tricia Lucas. So you guys are going to help us too. If you don't know, Summit Academy came into fruition about 8 years ago. It was Frost Elementary and Hendricks Junior High. They combined the 2 and they made it a choice school. But unlike the other choice schools, we're not application. And we also are a neighborhood school. So we have boundaries, and if you live in our boundaries, we take you, and then the open enrollment is based on availability. It's approximately 50% boundaried students, 50% open enrollment. We're a Title I school, about 55%, about 12% special ed. We're all inclusive, and that's what really makes a primary years program work there. It's all about being all-inclusive, come one, come all. The PYP is an inquiry-based educational framework that seeks to develop the whole child. It's about meeting every aspect of that kid's education. It recognizes the importance of the academic, social, emotional, cultural, and physical development of children from kindergarten through 6th grade. The curriculum sets really high standards and has high expectations for all students. As students develop into lifelong learners, students realize that learning is about being curious, asking questions, and finding answers that lead to further questions. The IB mission statement is pretty straightforward. It aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. Summit Academy has went even further with our own mission statement that piggybacks on the IB mission statement, and it aims to develop globally minded, lifelong learners who are empowered to become caring, responsible citizens that positively impact the world. International mindedness runs through everything with the IB. Every filter we have is through international mindedness. International mindedness, a person demonstrates the attributes of the IB learner profile. And the IB learner profile is really the bulk of where IB starts at the primary years program. In simple terms, it's our character ed program. And it revolves around these 10, and I don't have glasses, so I can't, I should know them by heart, but thank you, Arlinda. It's be an inquiry, that doesn't really help, but I'll make it, I kind of know them. Knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, caring, risk takers, balanced, and reflective. And everything we do, every lesson we do, every unit we do that Dottie's going to talk about, we intertwine those IB learner profiles, because the goal at Summit Academy is for our kids to make positive choices for no other reason than it's the right choice to make. And I'm going to turn it over to Cammie.
So the transdisciplinary learning is very important in the PYP. This just talks about how we weave all the content areas into a unit, and each grade level has 6 different units that they work through, and they do their best to get all the content areas and talk about whatever that unit is with all of that content material. The PYP curriculum units are written and designed by each of the teams, the grade level teams, and they're constantly revised and reflected upon to make them the best they can be. There are 5 essential elements. Knowledge, which is the curriculum piece to it. The key concepts, there are 8 total, and I do have some placemats. Girls, will you pass out those that are clipped that show the different pieces? Thank you. What goes into developing a PYP curriculum. There are approaches to learning, and this is really important for our students in the future so that they become positive citizens and take action in a responsible way. There are 12 attitudes that we talk about, and this has been a focus for the year, really trying to bring in the attitudes, and you'll see there is some crossover between attitudes and the learner profiles, for instance, caring and empathy, or inquirers and curiosity, but they're all really important character traits for our kids to adopt. And then the last of the essential elements is action. And I do want to read a quote from the Making the PYP Happen for you. It says, in the PYP, it is believed that education must extend beyond the intellectual to include not only socially responsible attitudes, but also thoughtful and appropriate action. It's really important for our students at Summit Academy to portray that action. And when we get to the girls sharing what their exhibition project is, you'll see how we put that into a culminating project that really makes a difference in the community. Dottie?
Thank you for letting us speak tonight. When Mark asked me to be part of this, the first thing he said was be short. So I'm going to try to do this really quickly because I love IB. I have a daughter that graduated from Westwood, went all the way through IB. And so I really buy into this whole education and feel really proud to be part of these wonderful girls' lives, just a little piece when they were in 5th grade. So one of the most, the thing that I like the best about IB is that there are 6 different thematic themes that follow through our curriculum that are based off of, that are taught in kindergarten and all the way through 6th grade. They are, the themes are who we are, where we are in place and time, how we express ourselves, how the world works, how we organize ourselves, and sharing the planet. And so, for example, kindergarten will teach who we are. 1st grade teaches who we are. We all teach the same thing, but in a different way. And so the next thing I'm going to talk about is how 5th grade does each of those things. And so what's up there that's very hard for you to see is what we do in 5th grade in each of those themes. And we're taking all of the concepts and the attitudes and the traits that Cammie talked about earlier, and we're bringing them to fruition using state and district standards and choosing books to read and writing assignments to do based off of a science or a social studies concept that fits within one of those themes. And for example, one of the themes that we're currently working on is where we are in place and time. Our that's what we're doing right now in my classroom. And there's a central idea that's involved with that theme. And our central idea is recognition of human rights by society. It affects access to equal opportunities. And so that theme then plays out. We have different lines of inquiry that the kids have to follow, and they're coming up with the information on their own through guided questions. And we do a case study on the American Revolution, and then we take that globally and internationally, and they get together in groups and they study a revolution that's happened around the world, and then they come back together and they report to the class on it. So that's what I have to say on the 5th grade.
That was great. That was great. It's funny because when we heard we had like 10 minutes, when you think about IB, I was just talking with Dr. Davis there. It's so, there's so much to it, and there's so many layers, and our teachers and our staff have to create everything. There's nothing given to us. Every IB school around the world has a different curriculum, and it's really, I really didn't want to do this at first, but then I became more and more excited because I really don't know that anybody at besides at an IB school really understands how involved it is, and I just want to thank you guys for helping me with that. The other thing that's really, really cool about what we have going on at Summit Academy is the Academy approach to learning. And what the Academy approach to learning is that going around with the whole child approach, we want to make sure that our kids are very well rounded. So part of the PYP is every student gets a second language. They have a language A and a language B. Language A is their home language. Language B is a language that we pick Spanish. We have a wonderful Spanish teacher, Martha Garshau, who teaches each of the students 1 hour per week. So if a kid's with us from kindergarten through 6th grade, they're going to get 7 years of Spanish instruction, which then feeds right into our MYP program on Summit Academy. And we have, over the years, we've had 100% of our kids leave 8th grade with high school credit as they go on to high school if they continue to stay with Spanish. We also have music for all of our students, but unlike other schools, our music department has gone out and got instruments for any student, for every student at Summit Academy. So all of our 4th and 5th graders take 2 years of either a orchestra instrument or a band instrument, and then at 6th grade they can choose to either continue or to go into general music. We have art that's within our units and also a standalone. Technology is embedded all over the place in everything we do, and we also have physical education. At the end of the PYP in 6th grade, we have a culminating project. It's called the exhibition, and here to talk about it are our 2 wonderful students, Amelia and Tricia.
I'm Tricia Lucas. And I'm Amelia Wendell. In 6th grade at Summit Academy, we have to put together a project that helps change the world somehow, or at least plants the seeds. The whole project is based around the saying, change happens through action. Amelia and I chose the subject of low self-esteem, and we explained what it is, how to help, and ways to make you feel better about yourself.
Low self-esteem is an important topic that affects children everywhere. This is why we chose this subject. Many children suffer from this mental illness, and it has led them to regretful decisions. In order to raise awareness for low self-esteem, Tricia and I created a 15-minute long presentation that describes what low self-esteem is, how to help, how to feel better, and spread the word.
We went to other schools and spoke to their classrooms. We lifted their spirits and showed them that they are enough. Amelia and I created an activity called the I Am Quilt. This is where each student would get a piece of paper and they would write an I am statement, such as, I am amazing, I am beautiful, I am worthy. We then took these papers and stapled them together, creating a quilt.
In the end, we received positive feedback saying that the presentation made students feel better about themselves and taught them to love themselves. Our project was one small change that led to a bigger awareness. Our goal was to teach students to love themselves and that you are not alone. This IB project as a whole, including all the other hard work students put into their project, created a lasting effect on our community. It was not only a lesson to us, but the people we helped. Thank you and have a nice night.
And that's why I have the kids come. They really kind of sum it up and really tell you what it's all about. And they come up, all the kids come up with their own topics. The teachers are coaches. They're there to kind of help the kids, but they do all the research and everything. To close it out, the PYP journey, this is the best quote we can, that we like to talk about what the journey is all about. The most important aspect of education is not the imparting of specific knowledge, but rather the learning of how to find knowledge when it is needed, how to assimilate that knowledge, how to integrate that knowledge, and how to synthesize new ideas and solve problems. And that's just a very, very, very quick little snapshot of what goes on in our primary years program at Summit Academy. I invite, many of you have come, I invite all of you to come, just drop in. You don't need to make an appointment. There's always good stuff going there. We'd love to show you around. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. You guys know Jake, right? You know Jake. I'm just joking. He's in charge of the whole IB, Dr. Jake Davis, and he's here
From Westwood.
He's actually also in charge of the PYP.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
awesome.
and he means it when he says drop in anytime. I've done that, huh? And he's welcoming even in the middle of his lunch. So
Yeah, that's actually the closest school I think to my house, and so it's easy just to, if I want to. Actually, their music program. I try to time my visits if you get a chance, other board members or any, I guess both viewers. Swing into this Summit and see if you can drop in and listen to their music program. He said that he's got instruments for all the 4th and the 5th graders, right? Yeah, that's amazing, and they are amazing. You go in there, and I mean, you know, I'm not gonna.
Well, we go to statewide. I don't know if they're what they call exhibitions and stuff, and we always get the highest rating. Brian Wilson is just amazing.
Yeah, you guys do amazing. And to the 2 students, I kept looking behind me to see if there was some teleprompter or something because
that was great.
Very well trained, very well rehearsed. Thank you for that. Do we have any questions?
I do, and you maybe have to educate me a little bit more. Are all of your primary students in the IB program, or do you have? It's all inclusive.
I don't know the protocol. It's all inclusive. Anyone that wants to be an IB, as long as we have spaces in the IB, whether you're 4 grade levels below or 4 grade levels above, the curriculum is designed. It's project based, so we can differentiate the curriculum. We have remediation for kids that need it. Our projects are naturally enriching on their own, as was witnessed by what you saw the demonstration there.
So as your community comes to your school, they have the understanding it's going to be an IB program when they're at your school.
Yes, in the neighborhood, and with open enrollment, if they're not in our boundaries, we have once the school year starts, we very rarely can take anybody. But yeah, if they move into our boundaries, they're in our IB program.
And then I know you work over at Westwood. Do any of the students transition from, or is that the goal, is to get them all over there? How does that transition
Well,
work?
in theory, we'd like to. The MYP becomes application based. It's very, very rigorous, so you have to be at a certain academic level to be able to handle the rigor of the middle years program in 7th and 8th grade. And then what we're hoping is that the 8th graders then will then transfer to the diploma program of the MYP at Westwood in 9th and 10th, and then to the diploma program in 11th grade. And I would say we typically have about 50 to 60% of our 8th graders that do go on to Westwood.
Wow. That is, yeah.
And it's quite a way, but that really isn't happening. And we're having you guys come to register in 2 weeks, right, Jake? Yeah. And we just had we have a whole day where our 8th graders go to Westwood to visit and to be part of their day, and they just absolutely love it.
So, Mr. Andrews, so at the junior high academy part of it, you have some youngsters who are in the regular academic track,
Yes.
and some are in the
Well,
IB
everyone,
track.
it's a little confusing, but everybody on the 7th and 8th grade is an IB student. They all participate with a learner profile. They all get the same IB philosophy of teaching, but however, we have an honors track that would be the kids that feed into the diploma program. But everybody K-8 is IB.
This is a great example of taking a school in that community and blossoming the way you have. It's so impressive.
Without just to brag a little bit about our staff, we are the only title PYP that we know about. There's no other title schools that we know about that are a primary years program. They're usually to be honest, a private school or a higher socioeconomic level. My teachers work so hard. I mean, they work so hard and do so much on top of their daily things just with the planning. And I invite anybody to come on a Wednesday. Part of our PLCs are almost always dedicated to working on our IB. So, and thank you guys very, very much.
I have a question. What percentage of your 7th and 8th graders are in that honors track, would you say? Is it 10%? Is it 15?
I have to do math now, but I would say roughly about 33 to about a third, a little bit more than a third.
That's really a lot.
Yeah,
we push. That's larger than I thought.
We push. We have criteria, kinda. Ish. Yeah. We want. I came from a very underprivileged background, so if you think you can do it and you want to try it and you look like you're going to put forth some effort, let's go. Come on, let's do it. So, yeah.
That is good. I love this learner profile. I think these are words we would love to describe every learner in Mesa Public Schools, and to have the vocabulary to say this is what it looks like. These are skills and characteristics you develop in yourself that make you not only a great learner for a K through 12 program, but a lifelong learner, because you learn to adapt make these characteristics part of yourself. So it's great. I love especially that PYP program. I love the ones that it's like AVID at elementary school. A rising ship raises all, or tide raises all ships, right? It brings everybody up into something better. So that's great. Thank you, Mark.
No, thank you.
Just a quick comment. It was interesting that the topic that the young ladies chose of self-esteem. I think at some point in our lives, all of us struggle or have challenges with that particular topic, and especially in our day, I think it's important to continue to remind and have those support systems. So thank you for bringing that and championing that, and for what you do in making a school as special and important for the kids that are there. And whatever we can do as a board to support you and encourage you, we're honored to do that.
Thank you, and you guys always have. Thank you very much.
So Mark, I was trying to figure out how to heckle you during the presentation.
I knew it was going to be coming. I knew it was going to be coming.
So close.
I was actually more worried about Dr. Driscoll. So. He's my old neighbor. Pomeroy's right next door. So.
Does anyone else have any other questions, comments? Well, thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate the work that you do. I personally see the influence it has on the local community and the students of the neighbors and friends that attend that school. So we really appreciate it. And thank you for presenting for us tonight. All right, back to business. All right, we're going to move on to item 12, the second hearing for the Governing Policy IKA and Governing Board Policy IKAB. Any for this?
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. Policy IKAB, Student Progress Reports to Parents, was included on the agenda for a first hearing. For a first hearing at the governing board meeting on December 12, 2017. This policy states that schools will regularly and fully inform both students and parents of students' progress using progress reports or grade report cards. The policy is being renamed simply Student Progress Reports.
Okay, thanks. Are there any questions regarding either one of those? Okay, given that this is a second hearing, I assume that we're going to approve these one at a time. Is that correct? Is that okay? So can I get a motion to approve the Governing Board Policy IKA?
I move for approval of Governing Board Policy IKA grading systems.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and can I get a motion to approve item B there, Governing Board Policy IKAB?
Okay, so I kind of fouled that up, and I shared with you IKAB.
I was trying to, I thought you mixed them.
And that's I thought Alice found me out back there. So
okay, so we just
looked at IKAB. So if we would like to approve I shared with you already, IKAB, so if we want to
Okay, let's,
flip them.
can we
To make it
undo
easier.
approvals? Let's step back.
I got
Okay,
out of
so
order.
we haven't approved yet Governing Board Policy IKA. Let's start with the motion to approve Governing Board Policy IKAB.
Okay, round two. I move we approve Governing Board Policy IKAB, student progress reports to parents.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passed. Now let's move back to IKA.
All right, Mr. President, members of the board, this time we will be looking at policy IKA, grading systems, that was included on the agenda for a first hearing at the governing board meeting on December 12th, 2017. This policy states that schools and teachers will apply the district's grading system in a consistent manner unless a specific variance or exception is granted by the superintendent.
Okay, perfect. Can I get a motion to approve?
Mr. President, I make a motion that Governing Board Policy IKA grading systems be adopted.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. I think we're on to the, at least because we've been here for almost 5 hours, our favorite item 13. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Come with my chair.
It does.
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thanks.